In the last video, you heard us talking about the ramifications and the sanctions on Russia as far as pushing them out of the SWIFT network is concerned.
Putin chose this war, and now he and his country will bear the consequences.
Over the course of the next few minutes, we will be discussing the sanctions on the Russian economy and the Russian central bank and the impact that this could pose on the global economy. I'm Saloni Shukla, and stay tuned. A lot of European nations and America has come forward and sanctioned Russia out of the SWIFT system, and Russia is looking at ways to countermand those sanctions. But beyond that, there are over more than 3,000 sanctions which has been imposed on Russia. It's actually more than countries like Iran. And for the first time, sanctions of this magnitude, has been imposed on such a large nation. So that we have to, take in mind. As far as the sanctions on the Russian central bank is concerned, increasingly we are seeing the United States and its allies leading quantum of sanctions that they are imposing on Russia. For example, as far as the Russian central bank is concerned, they have tried to freeze their reserves, as far as dollar investments is concerned in multiple other countries. So the Russian central bank could find it very difficult to access its dollar reserves. Central bank of this size and shape has never been sanctioned before. We've also seen the impact of ruble. Because of this, it's tanked more than 30%. Trades that we are seeing as far as US and Russia is concerned, increasingly, it's being strained. If you look at the latest developments that have happened in this regard, we saw US President Biden saying that America will block all the oil and energy transactions that are happening from United States to Russia. In a counter action against this, President Putin has imposed a ban on all exports from Russia, and the Russian companies will have to adhere to this. Britain, which largely relies on a lot of Russian exports, has said that it will slowly try to reduce its dependence on Russia, which has almost 7% of the global reserves as far as oil and energy is concerned. The direct correlation here obviously is the impact on the crude oil price, that we have seen it's touching almost, a 14-year high. Russia is a very large contributor of oil and energy in the global economy. We have seen the United States announce that it will release a lot of reserve energy that it holds, but that has done little to sort of sober down the crude oil prices, because the tension continues between Russia and Ukraine. There are very close ties between the European nations and the trade that happens between Russia. So, immediately we will not see an end to the trade as far as oil and energy is concerned between EU and Russia. But eventually what we are seeing is that they will start rolling back a lot of their dependence on the Russian economy as far as oil and gas is concerned. The ramifications here directly is the reputation loss that will come with this, because you will any large company in any economy will be thinking twice before dealing with Russians as far as oil and energy is concerned. In fact, there are several numbers being floated by large analyst groups which show that almost 60 to 70% of the oil trades that are happening from Russia and large economies, have no buyers. So basically, a lot of these shipments are getting stuck in between, because deals are getting cancelled, or even if the sub-shipments are happening midway, there are no buyers for these shipments. So a lot of these issues will sort of choke up the global supply chain. So as far as India is concerned, customers should really brace for an increase in petrol and diesel prices because of the losses that OMCs have been suffering in the last few days. As far as the Indian currency is concerned, you've seen rupee take a tumble. We have seen that RBI has tried to maintain the rupee level by selling dollars, but it can only do as much. While it's good for exporters, this is difficult news for a lot of importers as well. So you are seeing ramifications on the rupee, and it has been the worst performing currency as far as the Asian basket is concerned. There are some positives as well. If Russia is putting a complete ban on a lot of items that it exports, then it will benefit the pharma sector, the food grain sector. So India could be a beneficiary of that. But the immediate impact of a crude oil price hike would be inflationary pressures, and hence you could see inflationary pressure rise, and hence what the RBI will really do, whether it has definitely not calculated this in its inflation math, because it was really focused on supporting growth. So we could see a turn in the interest rate cycle if this inflationary pressures continue. The world economy was already facing a COVID-induced slowdown, and now with all the geopolitical tensions happening between Russia and Ukraine, it doesn't spell good news for the Indian economy. What will happen henceforth, only Mr. Putin knows. But for a larger impact on the Indian economy, stay tuned, because we'll be coming up with another video.